Before we get started, I do consulting on traveling in France. I can help you plan and organize your next trip to Europe, as well as with translation. There's more information about my activities in the video. Now, let's get started. Welcome to this episode of Touring Backroads France. Today we're going to be visiting the town of Aigre in Charente, which is known for the Maison Gautier Cognac and a number of interesting historical details. So I hope you'll enjoy this video and you can follow along with me as we take off towards the next town down the road. I sat down with local resident and historian Dominique Grandjou. His knowledge of local history was captivating and a great start to digging deeper into the different periods of the past when Aigre was an important regional focal point. But before we do that, what do you think would be 3 main reasons someone would want to buy property or relocate to this part of France? Stay tuned and I'll let you know at the end of the video what the locals think. Today, we'll break down the history of the town into 3 different eras: Renaissance, industrial, and modern. A lot of the things we'll explore in this video are a general overview, but if you're interested, check out the links in the historical works and references in the description below. Aigre started growing based around its church and parish in the 13th century, located along the trade route between Spain and the French monarchy in Paris. The dukes and lords from Saintonge, Angoulême, and Poitiers realized that Aigre was a focal point and a strategic crossroads between their fiefdoms, and a stronghold castle fortress surrounded by a moat was built just south of the current-day town. Today, only the moat and a dirt mound remain of the fortress, as locals and builders pillaged the stones over the many centuries since its construction. Following the Treaty of Paris in 1259, the Aquitaine region, with Aigre located in the north, along the north-south and east-west trade routes, entered a long period of political uncertainty. Both the English and French kings laid claim to the land at different times. A Scottish lord named Waster Valentin is referenced in the 15th century, and French families held titles in the 17th century, as Aigre changed from a Protestant stronghold to a Catholic parish during the period of reforms following the Edict of Nantes in 1598 and the subsequent suppression of religious freedoms. Right now I'm up on the high point next to Aigre. Aigre is actually behind this water tower you see in front of me. This being the high point, the water tower is located here. The Château d'Eau, as they call it in French. And as we move across, you can see from up here, if you do get a chance to get up to this high point south of town, you see this amazing 360-degree view. And I will stop about here is the city of Angoulême, which is south of here, and then we move more towards the east, and you can see on a clear day generally up to 30 kilometers or about 20 miles distance from here. And of course what we have growing in front of us are the vines, the grapevines that we use to make cognac and different local products. So here we have the vineyards that are in front of me, and you get just an amazing view of the Charente and the surrounding areas. Highly recommend coming up to visit these high points if you like being outdoors, nature, and hiking or biking, cycling through these different areas. And interestingly enough, if we look closer, we have here the vines. Within these vines you can find little pieces of clay that are not at all related. They're very light. They're incredibly light pieces of clay. And interestingly enough,
these pieces of clay, which you'll find dotted through the ground here, are actually the leftover broken tiles from Roman houses that were built here probably around 2,000 years ago. And off in the distance here we can see the Bouchot, which will be the subject of another video, and that is a Roman theater that was actually built into a hillside, that large hill that we see just across from here. It's about, I'd say about 10 to 12 kilometers from here. It's about 7 to 8 miles. And that's also in ruins, and it can be visited, and we'll do that on another video.
The importance of Aigre finds its roots primarily in the rich local agriculture and trade routes that permitted export of its products, ranging over the years from flax, hemp, flour, and spirits as the economy changed and grew. This is still apparent today in the layout of the town and some large buildings that are unusual for a population that never exceeded 2,000 inhabitants.
So here we have one example of something that's quite surprising in this town. You'll have to forgive the traffic because this is quite a busy road. This is the main road through town here. Gautier Cognac is right ahead of me off to the right and left side. And some of the history of this town is very apparent in these large buildings with very narrow fronts on them. Obviously not very wide. Looks something like you would find in Holland. A lot of times in the Netherlands, Amsterdam, you'd see short buildings like this with the multiple stories on top. So that is kind of unusual, and it really kind of brings together the economic history of this town, which was a commercial town. And obviously had a lot of money coming through it. Now today these buildings are not all in very good shape. They obviously need to be taken care of, a number of broken windows and things, but that building in particular up above is quite impressive for its stonework, and given the construction methods. So to see a town of that size with such buildings, surprising.
Starting in the 18th century, local distilleries produced larger and larger quantities of grape spirits that steadily became the refined cognac varieties that we know today. One of the local distilleries outlived all the others and is known today as the Maison Gautier Cognac. Let's stop in for a visit. For an enjoyable and personalized visit of a historic distillery, I'd suggest booking ahead of time. Today, Madame Marot of Maison Gautier showed us several interesting places in this charming backroads location, situated along the Homme River, which runs right underneath the distillery. The buildings date from the mid-18th century, and although they might appear dirty, they are actually covered with a particular type of fungus that gives the cognac here a special flavor as it goes through the aging process. Moving water provides just the right environment for this mini ecosystem to thrive. It's important to note that the Maison Gautier is a fundamental reason why Aigre became an important location on the map. The wealth and trade generated here allowed many other buildings to be constructed, as well as 2 small chateaux. Visits are available in English. You'll learn about the history and development of the Cognac area, as well as how local vineyards slowly developed from a regional product into an international sensation. While the city of Cognac is home to many distilleries, large and small, Aigre features a truly backroads experience. It is a refreshing and less traveled place to visit. They have many varieties to choose from, and tasting is free. Moving into the industrial range, Aigre is needed to maintain its spot in the regional economy. It was served by a narrow gauge railway operated through the Chemin de fer économique de Charente, which ran into the mid-20th century. Small tracks allowed locomotives to handle steep terrain and hills that marked the topography of the area. Remains of the railway still exist today in the form of bridges, right-of-way, and depots that continue to mark the landscape. Today, Aigre is a pleasant place to spend an afternoon or more, with the local market, restaurants, cafes, parks, and many other things to see and do. Stop in to visit local shops and a brocante run by Mr. Alain Sauzet, which has a large variety of unique objects for sale, including vintage tools, books, and furniture. I met with Mayor Renaud Combaud to give his views on what Aigre has to offer.
Nice to meet you, my name is Renaud Combaud and I'm Mayor of Aigre. Well, in a few words, Aigre is an historic city. Well, for example, we have Cognac Gautier, which is an older factory of cognac. Aigre is also a calm city, a picturesque city. For instance, we have nice landscape with the river L'Aume that I hope you have seen. Aigre is also dynamic. We have all the services that you need. For example, schools, doctors, shops, and I think that it's really important for inhabitants.
So, why do you think people choose to relocate to the Charente region in France? If you said temperate climate, picturesque landscapes, and vibrant local culture, you are right. Please visit our website and take our survey about new technologies and translation tools that we are also developing to assist people to cross language and cultural barriers. If you're interested in the content on this channel, please like and subscribe so that we can continue to bring you more as we develop our activity in the Charente region.